first thing to ask you about, another player through the door. You got Diamond Edwards done this week. I know he was on trial with you earlier on in the summer. Just tell us about him, why you've decided to bring him in now.
Yeah, no, we're pleased to add Diamond to the group. Diamond had been training with us all pre-season and shown wonderful signs. What we got to just do with Diamond is get him up to a physical condition where we feel he should be and needs to be. So that's going to take some time. So we've got him in. He's a wonderful player. Got tremendous feet, left foot, right foot, wonderful balance, a creative player, and a player that will get defenders on the back foot and give us that further impetus, what we're looking for in the final third of the pitch. So we're really pleased to add him on board. As I said, it was a successful pre-season campaign for him, and I'm just glad that both clubs have come to some agreement. But in terms of where he's at now, we just got to work on him physically and get him going, blow off the cobwebs and just get him aligned to what we want him to do in the system that we're looking to apply this season.
I think it's fair to say you've recruited really well at the top end of the pitch now, and they're all really different, aren't they? And that's, I suppose, again, that was something that you wanted to do because there's a lot of variety between what you'd call wide players, playmakers, out-and-out strikers as well. There's a lot of flexibility in that group up at the top end.
Yeah, and it's what we wanted, Phil, at the start of the season, and to get the attacking players that we have assembled at the top end of the pitch. It wasn't easy, but we've managed to do it, and we've managed to add real competition into those places. You are right, it does give us a wonderful flexibility and different dynamics for the team to apply really this season. So we're really pleased to have Diamond on board, and he'll add again to the quality that we've got up there, the competition that we've got up there, and all those players are vying to start in those positions.
What type of player is he? He's kind of a winger, attacking midfielder. Where does he kind of fit into what you want to do?
Really good player in terms of what he'll show and give us as a football club and the Vale supporters is somebody is a wonderful technician, somebody with the ball at his feet. Things happen because he's got the ability to unlock defenders, and in terms of beating his opponent and creating an overload, which for us will be vital. A player that operates happily inside the pitch, and somebody that will happily isolate his opponents in wide positions. So all those kind of attributes for the level that he's been at will bring to us what Diamond's probably just felt that over the years and over the seasons, he's probably not quite got his game going because we probably feel from a physical point of view, he's probably not giving himself that chance. What we're really working on is to get his body in a stable physical condition where he can, the demands of the game, he's able to handle them and cope with them, which in return will give him the best opportunity to display those talents that we've spoken about. So the process is going on with him, but hopefully we'll get to see him sooner rather than later.
I suppose the other thing to bear in mind, as you've kind of alluded to, is there's a real big difference between under-23s football and coming into senior football, especially in League Two, isn't there? So he's got to be equipped for that before you pitch him in.
Yeah, there's a big difference, definitely a big difference in terms of the physical demands of the game and what they present in League Two as you would from a PL2 league. There is a difference, even though you've got all the attributes of football and the shape and systems with it, but once you come into that the physicality of the game, it's very, very different. So he'll get exposure to that. He'll have a mental scope and capacity of what it takes, but obviously he'll get the feeling physically when he's in there doing it.
In the broader sense of the word, I think it's fair to say that the squad is big on paper. It's very, very big at the moment. So what, if anything, can you say about maybe players who might be going out? Because you put 13 in and not as many of that as left. So what, if anything, can you say about maybe approaches for some of the senior players? What maybe the plans are for some of the younger lads who might be going out on loan? Can you say anything about that yet?
Yeah, I think for us at the moment is we've had no offers for any of our players. So we've carried on working. Obviously, there's been a large recruitment of players coming the building from since over the summer months. But we wanted to do that to add competition to the team. And there's an existing current group of players still in the building from last season. and all of them are vying to start in games. All of them are vying to compete against each other, which is what we want, and it's what we've always tried to bring here at and want to bring here at Vale Park, is that we are competing against our opponents on a daily, weekly basis, but also within the camp, the players are competing against themselves because they all want to play. So I think that can only mean healthy business here at Port Vale. So we're happy with the group. There's still a lot of work to go with the group. There's been a lot of new faces brought in, added to the existing current crop we got here, and we're just trying to get them to settle down as quickly as we can. In terms of playing football, certainly for the younger players, we feel that later in the window, or if the window does close, we think there's one or two loan opportunities for them. So we see them potentially, if they're not to get in and around the team, for their development, and in where we see them going forward for this football club, part of their development might be a loan option to get their game time, to get that men's football that we spoke about, and keeping them near and around us and monitoring their progress, all with one thing in mind, is to making that step closer to the first team.
There are several players, as we mentioned on Tuesday, that haven't been involved with the first team yet, probably through injury. Thinking like, people like George Byers and Jaden Stockley. Nathan Smith obviously has not been around the place as well. And it's the same old question really, but where are they up to in terms of being able to join in? Because I think it's fair to say a lot of people would like to see George Byers out there and as soon as he's fit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, everybody would like to see, and Jaden, Chizzy, George, just to name a few really out there, but they're all back in training now, which is good. They're back on the grass, which is good. So they're in the final stages, which they're with me now and the current group. So to have those senior bodies backing around it is really pleasing. What they're just doing now is just getting that timing right now, being back in with their peers and being back around the senior group now. It's good progress for them. So they're all in and around it now, and we're just monitoring them, looking at the volume that they do in training, looking at the recovery stages, and hopefully if they continue developing and continue putting the volume in, then hopefully for the Vale supporters, sooner rather than later, they'll see those group of players be back in and around the first team and challenging the current group even further.
When you said about the current group as it is, do you envisage any more coming in to add to that, or are you kind of happy with the options that you've got at the minute?
I think we're kind of happy with the options, because with the options we've got available, I think we're covered right across the pitch in terms of the positions what we see them in. I think what we are trying to do now at the moment in the positions that are across the pitch is getting those group of players that we've spoken about all on the same page physically, and I think once we can get them physically, you're in a better position to make a more fair assessment of the group. So at the moment, even though the volume is a lot with players, there's still parts of the squad where we're short because of the players that are injured coming back in and still needing to get back there. So even though the numbers are large, it's still a squad that we've got to select from, but that squad still covers the pitch.
How hard is it to kind of build those relationships? Because you hear the phrase, they need time to gel or whatever, don't you? And that gets bandied around a lot. But what is the practical side of that? How do you as coaching staff get those players to gel and make them a team rather than just being a group of individuals? What's that like?
Yeah, consistency. I think, and on a daily basis, you learn about your players even more. I know why I've brought them into the club. I know what we've got them into the club, but also when you bring these players into the club, there's parts of their game that may reveal something to you even further. There's parts of the game where it may reveal something that you may need to help them more with to bring that team cohesion really and that group understanding. So that is a consistent basis of on the pitch sessions, classroom sessions, and consistently drip feeding information to them, the importance of what they do for the team and what they're bringing to the football club, and the importance of getting that part of their game right, because it will help and benefit us. And then there's other quality bits of their game that they've brought to us that will improve us anyway, but there's other parts of the game that they need to understand why we need them to be doing what they need to do to benefit the squad benefit the club going forward. So it's a consistent learning, and the biggest word I'd use with it, Phil, is just the consistency on and off the pitch.
Final thing, first home game of the season is always a big thing. People want to see you get off to a winning start, don't they? There's an impetus on you to deliver now, isn't there? You've won your opening game in the league. People want to come and see a really good performance on Saturday. I suppose you've got a duty to give them that.
Yeah, and that's football, and football that won't change now, and it won't change in the future. And every club's vying for that. We're no different here. So, we've got our first home game of the season. It was a wonderful start last week at Salford. There's a lot of hope and there's a lot of impetus in the football club at the moment, which is understandably so. And it's great that the fans are feeling that. And as I said, we're really looking forward to seeing all the supporters here at Vale Park on Saturday. It bodes well for a really, really good game. They've started the season solid as well, Tranmere. And they can be difficult opponents, which we know. But I said, we've started there. We've come through pre-season. We've started the season solid, and we've got our first home game here in front of our passionate supporters. And obviously we know we're at home, and we're glad to be at home, and we know that we've got to take the game to them.